Paris, the 2nd of December 1804. The Cathedral of Notre Dame is so cold you can see your breath, but you do not feel it. 8,000 people are watching. The Pope has traveled from Rome, the first pontiff, to leave Italy in centuries, and he is standing behind you, waiting. You reach out, you take the crown from his hands before he can place it on your head. You crown yourself. On the table beside the altar, your bicorne hat sits alone, the one you wore crossing the Alps, the one your soldiers recognized before they recognized your face. You didn't bring it here for ceremony. You brought it because you needed to remember who put you in this room. It wasn't God, it wasn't France, it was you. How did it start? You are born on the 15th of August 1769 in Ajaccio, Corsica, an island France purchased from Genoa exactly 1 year before your birth. You are not French, you are Corsican. Your first language is Italian. Your family name is Bonaparte. You are the second of 8 children, and your father Carlo is a minor noble with more pride than money and more ambition than either. Corsica has just lost a war for independence. The men who fought in it are your father's friends. The word occupation is not political to you, it is the texture of daily life. Your house on Rue St. Charles is stone-walled and dark in the mornings. You wake before your siblings. You read everything in your father's small library: Plutarch's Lives, Caesar's Gallic Wars, histories of Sparta and Carthage. You are 9 years old and you have already decided that history is made by individuals, not by crowds. The crowds just decide which individual to follow. Your father secures a scholarship for you, a charity placement at the French military school at Brienne-le-Château. It is 800 kilometers away. You have never left Corsica. What you lose at this stage? Your name. The French schoolmasters cannot pronounce Napoleon Bonaparte. They shorten it, flatten it, make it easier for their tongues. You will spend years becoming the name they gave you instead of the one your mother spoke. October 1779, you arrive at Brienne. You are 10 years old, small for your age, and your French has a thick Corsican accent the other boys find hilarious. They call you the foreigner. They call you the peasant. A classmate named Le Picard mocks you publicly for being poor. You do not cry. You go to the library instead and stay there until they stop looking for you to laugh at. The boy who will conquer Europe spends his first year in France eating alone. You are 15 when you transfer to the École Militaire in Paris, the elite military academy that normally takes 2 years. You complete it in 1. The examiners note your exceptional mathematics. Your ranking, 42nd out of 58 graduates, middle of the class, assigned to the artillery. Artillery, not cavalry, which is for aristocrats with money for horses. Artillery is for people who understand physics. You understand physics. You are posted to Valence, then Auxonne. You are a lieutenant making 1,120 livres a year. Your family in Corsica depends on the money you send home. After expenses, you send almost all of it. In Auxonne in 1788, you eat 1 meal a day to save money. You spend 14 hours reading. You study Frederick the Great's campaigns, Turenne's tactics, the siege records of every major European fortification built in the last century. You are 19 years old and you have read more military history than most generals twice your age. Then 1789 arrives. The Bastille falls. France stops being the country that paid your salary and becomes something none of your books prepared you for. What you lose at this stage, the Corsica you were fighting for. You come back twice to support Corsican independence, and twice the island rejects you. When Corsican nationalist Pasquale Paoli finally calls your family traitors and drives you out in 1793, you board a boat with your mother, 3 brothers, and 3 sisters. You never go back. The island you spent your childhood defending has no use for you now. The 5th of October 1795, Paris. A royalist mob of 25,000 is marching on the National Convention. The government is about to fall. A politician named Barras hands you command of the city's defense with 4 hours' notice. You position 40 cannons on the steps of St. Roch's Church and wait. When the crowd advances, you open fire. The grape shot kills somewhere between 200 and 1,400 people. The numbers were never agreed upon. The mob scatters in 12 minutes. They call it a whiff of grape shot. Paris is saved. You are promoted to General of the Army of the Interior within the week. The first time you give an order that kills Frenchmen, your hands don't shake. That is the part you never tell anyone. March 1796. You are 26 years old. You have been married to Josephine de Beauharnais for 2 days. The morning after the wedding, you leave for Italy. The army of Italy is 37,000 men. They are hungry, poorly supplied, and have not been paid in months. Your predecessor generals treated them as a liability. You walk the lines the first day, and you can see it in their faces. They are waiting to see if you are another bureaucrat in a uniform. You are not. Your first address to them is 4 sentences. Soldiers, you are hungry and nearly naked. The government owes you much, but can give you nothing. Your patience and courage honor you, but give you no advantage. I will lead you into the most fertile plains in the world. Rich provinces, great cities will be in your power. You will find their honor, glory, and wealth. You don't promise them abstract victory. You promise them specifics, provinces, cities, wealth. It works because you mean it. In the next 12 months, you fight and win 18 pitched battles. You cross the Alps through passes the Austrians thought impassable. You dictate peace terms to Austria at Leoben, a 26-year-old general dictating to an empire. You send 300 wagons of looted Italian art back to Paris. What you lose at this stage? Josephine. Not literally, not yet, but you write her letters every week from Italy, frantic and obsessive. She writes back rarely, late, and briefly. She is having an affair in Paris with a cavalry officer named Hippolyte Charles. You find out through your brother. You finish the Italian campaign anyway. You file the knowledge somewhere cold and do not let it reach your face. The 17th of October, 1797. The Treaty of Campo Formio. You negotiate it personally, without waiting for authorization from Paris. France gains the Austrian Netherlands. The Holy Roman Empire cedes territory not ceded in a century. The Directory, the 5 men technically in charge of France, receive the treaty as a fait accompli. They ratify it because they have no choice. You have just made foreign policy for a country whose government did not ask you to. Paris celebrates. The directors smile in public and begin to fear you in private. You are 27 years old. The fear is the correct response. Paris, 1798. You are too famous. The Directory fears what an idle general with a hero's reputation might do in the capital. They give you an impossible assignment to get you out of France. Invade Egypt, threaten British India, cut England's eastern trade routes. You accept immediately. Not because the plan is sound, because the alternative is waiting. And you do not know how to wait. The 19th of May, 1798. You sail from Toulon with 38,000 men, 167 ships, and 150 scholars, historians, scientists, artists. You are not just going to conquer Egypt, you are going to document it. Even your wars have libraries. The desert is nothing like Italy. Your soldiers are dying of thirst and dysentery at rates the Italian campaign never produced. You win the Battle of the Pyramids in July. You tell your men 40 centuries look down upon you from those stones, and you believe it when you say it. But 3 weeks later, Admiral Horatio Nelson destroys your entire fleet at Aboukir Bay. You are stranded in Africa with an army that cannot go home. You stay 18 months, you win battles that nobody in Paris hears about, you watch 5,000 of your men die of plague in Jaffa after you ordered the city stormed. There is a story contested, but persistent, that you ordered the mercy killing of your own plague-stricken soldiers before retreating, rather than leave them to the Ottomans. You never confirm it. You never deny it. What you lose at this stage, the last of your certainty that war is clean. Italy was cavalry and speed and genius. Egypt is disease and sand and decisions that have no good answer. You leave Egypt in August 1799 without telling your officers you are going. You board a ship in the middle of the night. You leave the army behind. The 9th of November, 1799, 18 Brumaire. You have been back in France for 6 weeks. The Directory is collapsing. Bankruptcy, military defeats in Europe, political paralysis. 3 conspirators approach you. Your brother Lucien, politician Emmanuel Sieyès, and director Roger Ducos. They need a general's face on a political coup. You need a mechanism for power that doesn't require another election. The next day, you stand before the Council of 500 to dissolve the Republic. They rush you. Physically, they surround you. Grab your uniform, someone draws a blade. You stumble out of the chamber pale and bleeding from a scratch on your face. Your brother Lucien saves the moment by telling the guards outside that assassins are attacking the nation's savior. The guards disperse the council at bayonet point. It is the least heroic moment of your military career. It works anyway. The Republic ends not with a great speech, but with a general too stunned to speak, and a brother quick enough to lie. December 1799. You are 30 years old. You are now first consul of France, one of 3 consuls technically. In practice, 1. The other 2 consuls, CS and Ducos, are replaced within weeks by men who understand their role is to agree with you. France is exhausted. 10 years of revolution have produced 4 constitutions, a terror that guillotined 17,000 people, runaway inflation, and a government that changed hands like a fever. You walk into the Tuileries Palace where the king used to live, and the servants are still there, unsure if they should bow. You let them. The next 4 years are the most productive of any leader in modern European history. You negotiate the Concordat of 1801 with Pope Pius VII, ending the revolution's war with the Catholic Church. You create the Bank of France. You commission the Napoleonic Code, a unified legal system that replaces the 400 different legal traditions operating across French territory. The code establishes equality before the law, property rights, religious freedom. It is still the legal foundation of 40 countries today. You work 18-hour days. Your secretaries rotate in shifts because no single person can keep up with you. You dictate correspondence while being dressed. You eat in under 10 minutes. You learned in Egypt that hunger is a distraction you can schedule around. What you lose at this stage, the ability to trust. Your police minister, Joseph Fouché, runs a surveillance operation that monitors your own family. Your foreign minister, Talleyrand, is already in quiet contact with your enemies as insurance. You know about both. You keep them anyway because men who spy on everyone are more useful than men who are merely loyal. Loyalty, you have concluded, is a function of fear and self-interest. You have built a government accordingly. The 2nd of December 1800. A bomb planted on the Rue Saint-Nicaise, the infernal machine explodes as your carriage passes. You survive because your coachman was drunk and drove faster than instructed, moving your carriage through the blast radius seconds before detonation. 22 bystanders are killed. You attend the opera that evening as planned. The message is intentional. You are not afraid. Or rather, you have decided that being seen to be unafraid is more valuable than actually being unafraid. And at this point, you are no longer certain there is a difference. You have made France a country worth living in again. The price is that it is now a country built entirely around the assumption that you will never die. The 2nd of December 1804, Notre Dame Cathedral, Paris. We are back where we started. The crown is in your hands, the Pope is behind you. You turn to face the altar, 8,000 witnesses, the entire diplomatic corps of Europe. Your mother sitting in the front row with an expression that has never once shown you uncomplicated pride. You place the crown on your own head. Then you turn around and crown Josephine. She is kneeling. Her eyes are wet. You notice somewhere in the machinery of this moment that she is the only person in this building whose reaction you are still capable of caring about. And you are not entirely sure when the rest stopped mattering. The years that follow are the years history will remember you for. Austerlitz, December 1805, the battle you will later call your greatest. You feign weakness on your right flank, draw the Allied armies into committing their center, then shatter their line in 4 hours. 36,000 Allied casualties. You lose 9,000. The Holy Roman Empire, which has existed for 1,000 years, dissolves within months. Jena, 1806. Prussia defeated in a single afternoon. You ride into Berlin through the Brandenburg Gate. You stand at the tomb of Frederick the Great, your first military idol, and remove your hat. Your generals think it is a gesture of respect. It is also something else. Proof. You are standing where he stood, and you got here faster. You redraw the map of Europe 7 times in 8 years. You place your brothers on the thrones of Holland, Spain, Naples, and Westphalia. You create new kingdoms and new constitutions. You are not just conquering Europe, you are reorganizing it according to your principles. Your bicorne hat becomes the most recognized silhouette on the continent. Soldiers who have never seen your face know it from 200 meters. What you lose at this stage, Josephine. Not to another man, this time to the logic of empire. You need an heir. She has not produced one in 9 years of marriage. In December 1809, you tell her the marriage must end. She collapses. You cry witnesses, record it. It may be the last time. You divorce her and marry 18-year-old Marie-Louise of Austria, daughter of the emperor you defeated 3 times. Within a year, she gives you a son. You name him the King of Rome. The night after Josephine leaves Malmaison for the last time, you go to her empty bedroom and stand in it for a long time. Your secretary waits outside. You give no explanation. The 24th of June, 1812. You cross the Niemen River into Russia with 685,000 men, the largest army ever assembled in European history. Tsar Alexander has refused to maintain the continental blockade against Britain. You have issued warnings. He has ignored them. Now you will do what you always do, march until someone surrenders. Russia does not surrender. Russia burns its own cities rather than let you occupy them. Smolensk, burned. Moscow, you arrive on September 14th and find the Kremlin abandoned and the city on fire set by the Russians themselves. You wait 5 weeks in a burning city for a peace offer that never comes. The temperature begins to drop. You have walked into the largest country on earth, and it has simply moved away from you. For the first time in your career, your genius has no surface to push against. The 19th of October, 1812, Moscow. You have waited 35 days for Alexander to send an envoy. None has come. The temperature is already below freezing, and it is not yet November. You give the order to withdraw. The Grande Armée that crossed the Niemen in June numbered 685,000. The army that begins the march home is 100,000, and they are already starving. The road back to Poland is the same road you came in on, every village burned, every supply depot empty, every well poisoned or frozen solid. The temperature drops to -30°C in November. Men die in their sleep, men die walking. Men stop and sit down in the snow and do not get up, and the column moves around them because there is no time and no strength to carry anyone. You ride with the rear guard for stretches, watching. Horses are eaten, leather is boiled for soup. At the Berezina River crossing in late November, your engineers build 2 bridges under fire in freezing water, working in shifts, because each man can only stand in the river for minutes before his legs stop functioning. They build the bridges, they save the army, then they drown, because there is no room for them on the bridges they built. You crossed the Berezina on November 26th with roughly 40,000 soldiers capable of bearing arms. You left Russia with 685,000. What you lose at this stage, the myth of your infallibility. It has sustained your army through a decade of war, the belief that following you meant winning. That belief is now 645,000 men buried between the Niemen and the Berezina. The soldiers who return to France have eyes that no longer contain it. You can see it when they look at you. They still follow orders. But something that cannot be replaced has left the room. The 5th of December, 1812. You leave the remains of the army at Smorgoni and return to Paris by sleigh, traveling incognito. You arrive in Paris on December 18th, ahead of the news of the full disaster. You immediately began raising a new army, conscripting 350,000 men in the first months of 1,813, including boys as young as 15. Parisians call them Marie-Louises, named for your young wife, because they look like children. The coalition against you, Russia, Prussia, Austria, Britain, Sweden grows with every month. At Leipzig in October 1813, 380,000 Allied troops surround your 185,000. Over 3 days, you lose 70,000 men. It is the largest battle in European history before the 20th century. You retreat across the Rhine. You are raising armies from children now. Europe has decided the price of you is too high. and Europe is not wrong. The 6th of April, 1814, Fontainebleau Palace. Your marshals refuse to continue. Ney, Berthier, Lefebvre, men who have followed you for 15 years, stand in your study and tell you the army will not march. The Senate has voted to depose you. The Allies are offering terms, abdication in exchange for sovereignty over the island of Elba, a pension, and the title of Emperor of 86 square miles of Mediterranean island. You have 70,000 loyal troops still. You could fight. Several of your generals beg you to. You spend 4 days considering it. On April 11th, you sign the abdication. On April 12th, you try to poison yourself. You have carried a sachet of poison since the Moscow retreat, a mixture of opium, belladonna, and white hellebore, prepared by your personal physician after Maloyaroslavets, when capture seemed possible. You take all of it at 3 a.m. Your body rejects it. You survive through violent illness. By morning, you are alive and you do not try again. You never mention this night publicly, neither do your attendants. Elba is 86 square miles. You arrive in May 1814 with 600 soldiers of your old guard who chose to follow you into exile. You are 44 years old. You immediately begin improving the island's roads, mines, and agricultural systems. You redesign the sewage infrastructure of Porto Ferraio. You review your 600-man army 3 times a week. Your mother comes. Your sister Pauline comes. Josephine writes that she plans to visit. She dies of diphtheria in June before she can, 3 weeks after you land on Elba. You receive the news and sit alone for the rest of the day. No one records what you said. Marie-Louise does not come. She is in Vienna with her son, your son, and with Count Neipperg, who has been assigned by the Austrian emperor to keep her company. She does not write. What you lose at this stage, your son. The King of Rome is 3 years old. You will never see him again. He will grow up in Vienna as Franz, Duke of Reichstadt, Austrian in every way, and will die of tuberculosis at 21, having spent his life being the son of a name he was not allowed to use. The 26th of February 1815, you escape Elba with 700 men and land in southern France on March 1st. The king has sent the 5th Regiment to stop you. You walk toward them alone, ahead of your men, open-coated, and say, "Soldiers of the 5th, if any of you would shoot his emperor, here I am." The regiment joins you on the spot. By the time you reach Paris on March 20th, you have not fired a single shot. Louis XVIII has fled. The 100 days has begun. The 18th of June, 1815. Waterloo. You have 72,000 men. Wellington has 68,000. Blucher's Prussians are a day's march away. You need to destroy Wellington before they arrive. You delay the opening assault until 11:30 a.m. to let the ground dry from the previous night's rain. That delay, possibly 90 minutes, is debated by historians to this day. The battle goes wrong in the afternoon when Ney misreads your signal and sends 5,000 cavalry charging unsupported into British infantry squares. The squares hold, the cavalry is destroyed. Blucher arrives at 4:30 p.m. By evening, your army is in full collapse. You ride with the rear guard until your staff physically surrounds your horse and forces you from the field. The battle that ends your empire lasts 9 hours. You have fought battles that lasted longer and meant less. The difference is there are no more armies to raise after this one. The 15th of October, 1815. You arrive at St. Helena, a volcanic island in the South Atlantic, 1,800 kilometers from the nearest continent. The British have chosen it specifically because there is nowhere further from Europe that is still British territory. Your residence is Longwood House, a former barn converted into living quarters. The walls run with damp. The rats are audacious. The wind never stops. You are 45 years old. You will live here for the rest of your life. A British governor named Sir Hudson Lowe is assigned to oversee your captivity. He is a careful, humorless man who interprets every request as a potential escape plan. You are required to show yourself to a British officer twice daily to confirm your presence on the island. You are not allowed beyond a fixed perimeter without a British escort. Your correspondence is read before delivery. You dictate. It is the one thing they cannot restrict. In 6 years on St. Helena, you produce through dictation to your attendants Las Cases, Gorgod, and Montholon what will become the foundational mythology of yourself. You reframe Moscow as a strategic withdrawal interrupted by weather. You reframe Waterloo as a battle won until Ney's incompetence lost it. You reframe the entire empire as a project of liberation, the code, the roads, the rationalized borders interrupted by the jealousy of monarchs who feared what a France without kings proved about kings everywhere. You are writing history. You know you are writing history. You are very good at it. Your health declines. The damp and the island's suspected arsenic in the wallpaper do what the armies of Europe could not manage cleanly. You develop stomach pain that progressively worsens through 1820 and into 1821. You lose weight, you sleep more. The reviews of your 600 man guard stop, then the morning walks, then the dictation sessions that ran past midnight. What you lose at this stage? The body. The mind stays sharp, dangerously, exhaustingly sharp in a body that is failing at 50. Your doctors argue about the diagnosis, the stomach cancer theory, the arsenic poisoning theory, the hepatitis theory. None of them can agree. You notice this and make a small dry comment about it to Las Cases that he records in his journal. My stomach is the one battlefield my generals cannot agree on. April 1821. You make your will. You leave money to the soldier who attempted to assassinate Wellington. He tried to rid the world of the man who destroyed France, you write, with complete sincerity. You leave detailed instructions for your funeral, specifying that you should be buried on the banks of the Seine in the midst of the French people you loved so well. The British bury you on St. Helena instead. On May 3rd, you lose consciousness for the last time. The last coherent word your attendants record is Tethead. What follows it is unclear. Your last recorded sentence 2 weeks earlier is France, Armée, Josephine. You die at 5:49 p.m. on the 5th of May, 1821. At the moment of your death, a violent storm breaks over St. Helena. Your attendants record it. Whether it meant something is the kind of question you spent your life refusing to answer. They find it after. Among the effects in your bedroom at Longwood, the damp-walled room at the end of the world, on the chair beside the bed where you died, your bicorne hat. Not the coronation hat, not the Austerlitz hat. Those are in Paris in the hands of people who already own the myth of you. This one is the original, the Brienne hat, the Italy hat, the one your soldiers recognized before they recognized your face, because the silhouette of it against a gray sky meant follow me in a language that required no translation. It sits on the chair. No imperial red, no map of Europe beneath it, no army behind it, no pope beside it, no Josephine in front of it, no marshal brave enough to say this is wrong, and no enemy intelligent enough to stop you before you stopped yourself. Just a hat, on a chair, in a room no one important will ever stand in again. France, Armée, Josephine. The three things you named at the end, in that order, in that room, were not an empire. They were a boy who ate alone at Brienne, a general who wrote letters that were never answered, a man who divorced the one person he couldn't replace because the logic of power required it. You crossed the Alps at 26. You crowned yourself at 34. You dictated terms to emperors and reordered the legal systems of 40 nations and marched 685,000 men into a country so vast it simply absorbed them and waited. And then you sat in a damp room on an island at the edge of the world and you wrote down what you wanted history to remember, because history was the only battlefield left. The hat is still on the chair. No one is left to put it on.